So for this video, guys, we're going to go ahead and talk about cover 3 sky as what the meta defense is. This is the play that really goes ahead and sets the tone for the whole scheme because of the way that it can be set up pretty quickly and be able to get to the quarterback without them making adjustments to stop it. It's really going to be a nice play that you can scheme off of, and we're going to show you. So this video is really dedicated about showing you what the meta is, showing you kind of the way I'd like to set my defense behind it, what you've got to do to get it in more consistently, and then kind of show you a different setup I like to do to kind of be able to set up future videos of how we're showing you the scheme, okay? So the first thing you need to know is cover 3 sky. You could run it either or. I do prefer it flipped because I do feel that it comes in a little bit better, especially if you're going against right-handed quarterbacks that is coming on your backside, or even if you're going against a Vic or somebody where you're forcing them to go to the opposite side of where they're going. But let me show you here. Here's cover 3 sky. The easiest way to run this is basically just base a line. And you're going to see that this player over here, unfortunately, he's doing a little bit of a dance to the guy with the C over his head. You're going to block, you're going to blitz him, and you're going to quarterback contain, okay? Now, before the patch, this guy didn't do this dance. Now, you can just go ahead and move him in a second, and he'll stop that dance in practice mode. It doesn't always happen in games, so don't worry about that. It's just right now, for some reason, in practice mode, that guy's doing a little bit of a hop. So it seems like they might have done a little bit in the patch to that player in order to slow this blitz down. Wasn't in the blitz notes, but definitely, the title notes, but it definitely looks like there was something adjustment, but it still comes in. It's just not, in my opinion, 100% as consistent, but that's what we're going to show you different setups to really help you get a little bit more consistent, okay? Now, if all I did was this, and I'm just going to put the controller down for the defense, I'm going to hike the ball. What you're going to see is I got somebody on the right side here blocking. A lot of times what's going to happen is that guy is going to come over here and you're going to get to the quarterback. That's all I did, right? Now, I want to show you a couple different things. The first thing I want to make sure you see is that I put my controller down. So look at my middle linebacker. He just stands there, right? Now, that's important to know with blitzes. Sometimes things that you think that you're doing and you're practicing in mode or in gameplay, like play now or practice mode, a little thing can change the way it comes in. And try, why is it consistent? Why is it not? That player in that spot, being held at that spot, really gets the attention of the lineman to not get over and rotate. See, number 62 is kind of, still eyeing him, and then he doesn't really go ahead and get full rotation, and you're going to be able to get this in, okay? Now, if I look at the defense, what I want you to see here when we do this, the left side of the field is really open, right? So the problem with that is you're going to want to bail out a little bit too quickly sometimes to cover the left side of the field if you don't make adjustments. And, if you're ever seen the 3-3-5 odd setup, or a lot of times where they're blitzing the cornerback and they're blitzing the looping linebacker, this is very similar where they leave the whole left side open and they let you as a user cover it. And if you're a good user, you can by all means take away first threats and whatnot, and it kind of sometimes throws people off when they think that they're going to attack you on that side of the field. Well, if you bail out too early, so if I go and hike this and I bail out too early, a lot of the times that guy's not going to get in. Obviously, he did that time. I'll see if I can do it a couple times just so you can see that it doesn't, it basically hurts your consistency of when it comes in, right? So let me just go ahead and try it again here. And this time, see how it got kind of picked up, okay? Now, that is something that, as a user, you need to know how to make it more consistent. So the first thing I want to show you is the way to make it more consistent is to hold that linebacker there, okay? So we already showed you how that affects it there. If you hold this linebacker here, and basically all you're doing is holding the left trigger button until you see the outside player hit the left tackle and engage with him, that's when you want to cover over the left-hand side. If you want to go with this type of defense as far as making your responsibility the left side of the field. Very viable shot to do it. I would say if you're a good user, definitely have that ability. If they're in certain formations, that's a good thing. Maybe they're in a trips to the right where they're moving this guy over, right? Well, If they're in something like that, you really feel like you're probably okay on the left-hand side. Maybe you're susceptible to a smart routed out, something to that type of deal where you can easily be able to get over there in time and cut off that angle of that throw. So in this sense, maybe I'll keep my player in that. But if you're, maybe strong to where there's either 2x2 or 3x1 on the left-hand side, you might want to change it. But in general, if I hold this left trigger, wait for the guy to hit 77, that guy's going to be able, and then I go cover to left-hand side. Okay, watch the timing of this. I want to make sure that you notice this to get it in more consistently. You want to make sure that you wait until 77 gets hit. As soon as 77 gets hit, now I have the license to go over, and I'm going to cover the side of the field. Okay. Now you are susceptible to quick hitters. If somebody's doing, right here and they're throwing like a smoke screen, or even in this instance, a quick end. In this sense, as soon as the guy breaks, he can throw it there. I'm closing that gap already as far as timing, and I was even a little late on breaking. As soon as this guy hits that play right there, I can break. You can see I'm about a half a second too late. Obviously, you've got to see it before you do it, so your reaction is going to be a little bit less than the action itself. But in general, you'll see here's the hit. You go cover the side, and you're good to go, right? So that's one way to do it, right? And that's kind of somewhat of the meta. We've also noticed that you don't have to always have all 4 down linemen blitzing. This is also stuff that I've seen online. I'm not going to take credit for this. This is something that I've seen people take this player here and go ahead and put him in a vertical hook or a spy. Typically, you want to do the hook to the opposite side. So if you're doing this, you want to do a vertical hook left, so it goes towards that player, or just even a hook to the left. It doesn't really matter which side you're doing it to. So say hook curl left, right? Something like that, right? Either or. What that'll do is that'll still help you stay close to that player. And a lot of times, in that case, you can go ahead and take this linebacker and move him and put him in a hard flat, right? Something like that. Now, if you just do it like this, sometimes that guy bails out a little bit more. So basically, I'll show it to you again. Here it goes. You can see we didn't get around that corner. It is what it is, right? It's one of those that we try to put extra protection, extra coverage out there. It kind of shortened up the blitz. He didn't get out there because we made that hard flat go too far to the left. So I'm going to show you basically how I like to do this type of setup. I'm going to base the line, and I'm going to blitz that guy, and I'm going to quarterback contain, right? Now, we talked about holding that player. So what we're going to do is take this A, we're going to put him on a hook curl left. So that's how that is. And I'm going to take these linebackers now, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift them to the right, okay? And they're going to switch sides, all right? This is something you would do early. And the reason why you do this is because I want to make sure you know that we're going to set up a blitz later that's going to have the same look. Then we're going to take this player right here, and we're going to put him in a hard flat, going to that side. And I'm just going to kind of move him over here. And what that's going to do is it's going to have that angle that, because he's coming a little bit more towards the middle of the field to the left, he's going to hold that player or hold the line of scrimmage a little bit more. So this is the guy we're going to use it right here, right? The Jones. So let's go ahead and show it here. You're going to see that this guy is going to have a good opportunity, and see how we were able to get him in. And the reason for that was we changed our ability to basically put our players in spots. So basically what we did again is we moved that guy over. We switched the linebacker's position. We moved them to the right, right? When we did that, we got that hard flat to basically dance in that spot a little bit more. So if you don't want to user your player to the left-hand side as much, if you put them in that, you shift them to the right, one, it does definitely make you feel like the blitz isn't always coming from the left side. So maybe people aren't going to do any adjustments. Or because of the way that he shuffles to the left, he's in that zone a lot more. So see how I engaged? He basically allows that guy, and it's going to be more consistent, to be over there. And now we've got an extra player coming out. We've got that defensive tackle that's covering the middle. We've got that hard flat going to left. And we're going to be on the right-hand side. So you're going to have basically a 4-man blitz and be able to get it in. So those are the two adjustments I really like to make when it comes to this play. As far as the behind coverage, it's definitely decent as it is. The one thing I want to make sure that I make a mention is if we're in any type of trip set, you're very susceptible to the inside seam, okay? So in this type of situation, you know, say we did the whole, you know, put the guys to the right. I didn't move that guy here, right? Put the guys to the right. What we want to do is we want to move this free safety over there, right? So say we're doing something like this again, where we're putting the hard flat over there. Hard flat should be going the other way. You know, put the hard flat over there. If we put this guy in the middle, so that way, if anybody tries to throw that seam, and I'm going to kind of try to throw it real quick. Oh, I didn't click off that guy. You're going to see that our guy is going to be a little bit more prone to get there. That's even with my player. If you saw that I was on that player, that's the reason why. But I'm just going to do it where, just so you can see it, I'm not going to go through the whole setup. But if you see that, if you keep your middle linebacker in the middle, he's going to have that ability to get that seam. And that is something that you're really going to want, you know, as far as getting to that player and knocking it out or getting it to him, because you want to deter them from throwing it. And what I try to do when I do this setup is if I'm on that player, right, and I'm doing it to where these guys are swapping, and I'm on this player right here, and they're doing some type of three wide receivers over there with that seam, I'm covering that seam for a few yards to make sure that when I move my free safety over, right, that I'm waiting for them to throw that ball a little bit longer to make sure that my free safety gets there. There's really no other, you know, threat on the field when it comes to that. And you remember that we're going to be putting this guy on a hook, a hard flat. Now, on the hard flat, you can always put these guys on a cloud flat and still work the same way. But this is how I kind of like to run this. Make sure I do it like that. And it's just a different setup, okay? It's something that you probably haven't seen before. You know, I wanted to show you the meta just to make sure that you understood that how people are having success with it. It wasn't a blitz I came up with, so I don't want to take credit for that. I just want to make sure you know that that's what I've seen online. You know, I'm not sure of the total originator, but I definitely want to make sure that they get credit for that. This is how I like to run it when it comes to being a little bit more different. Get the same results, and basically set up our next blitz, which is going to be on the next video.